Welcome to Woo English. In this educational audiobook, you will learn English through a real story of global politics, power, and danger. We take you inside the dramatic events between Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, and the war in Ukraine. Listen carefully to the short sentences. Hear the rhythm, the emotion, the suspense. Improve your English while discovering how the world can change in just 10 days. Are you ready? Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Warning. The world is watching. The news flashes across every screen. Donald Trump has spoken. His voice is firm. His tone is cold. Russia must end the war in Ukraine within 50 days, he says. If not, there will be consequences, severe consequences. People everywhere hold their breath. Reporters shout questions. Markets shake. Leaders react. But then, the shock grows deeper. Trump changes his mind. Not 50 days, not 20 days, only 10 days. 10 days to end a war that has lasted for years. 10 days. Or face the toughest sanctions ever. In Moscow, the news spreads fast. Russian officials listen carefully. Some laugh. Some get angry. Dmitry Medvedev, former president of Russia, speaks first. His words are sharp. He calls Trump's warning a step toward war, not just with Ukraine, but with the United States itself. The Kremlin is quieter. Its spokesperson, Dmitry Peskov, says Russia is still open to peace talks. But at the same time, Russian troops keep fighting in Ukraine. Trump is not finished. On television, he says again, I am losing patience with President Putin. I gave him 50 days. I will now give him just 10. He raises his voice. If there is no progress, Russia will face heavy sanctions, and any country that buys Russian energy will also pay the price. The world is shocked. Even America's allies are nervous. Europe depends on Russian gas and oil. China and India buy huge amounts of Russian energy. If Trump is serious, a global crisis could begin. In Moscow, some see the warning as an insult. Russia is not a small country to be ordered around. Medvedev says loudly, Russia is not Iran. Russia is not Israel. We will not accept humiliation. But the Kremlin's official reply is softer. It says, we have taken note of Trump's words. We are still open to finding peace. Behind closed doors, Russian generals discuss the situation. The war is still going on. In eastern Ukraine, battles are fierce. Russia has just taken control of 2 new towns. Its army says that more than 1,000 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed in one day. Meanwhile, in Washington, Trump grows impatient. He wants results. He wants Putin to back down. But many experts warn him. They say, be careful. Russia will never accept such an ultimatum. You are pushing the world toward disaster. Colonel Douglas McGregor, a former U.S. officer, says, maybe Trump is not serious. Maybe this is just a way to win concessions from Europe or to help his trade war. But no one knows for sure. Is Trump bluffing, or is he ready to risk it all? The countdown has begun. 10 days. In Moscow, Putin is silent. No one knows what he will do. In Washington, Trump is loud. He threatens sanctions not only on Russia, but also on China, India, and any country that trades with Moscow. The world is split in two. On one side, Russia, China, and their allies. On the other, America and Europe. Everyone asks the same question. Will Trump really follow through? Or is this just a dangerous game? The cameras show Trump again. His words are final. If Russia does not stop this war, the United States will act. The world will see strength again. Reporters write quickly. Leaders hold emergency meetings. The clock keeps ticking. 10 days remain. The world waits and wonders. Is this the beginning of peace or the first step toward a new world war? In Chapter 2, Moscow reacts. The news hits Moscow like a thunderclap. Trump's ultimatum is everywhere, on TV, on phones, in every office. 10 days, only 10 days. Inside the Kremlin, officials gather. Some look calm. Others are furious. Dmitry Medvedev, former president and now deputy head of Russia's Security Council, speaks first. His eyes are cold. His voice is sharp. This warning is not just about Ukraine, he says. It is a step toward war with Russia itself. Trump does not understand what he is doing. His words spread quickly across Russian media. For many Russians, Medvedev says what they feel: anger, pride, and defiance. But the Kremlin chooses a softer tone. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov steps before the cameras. He speaks slowly. Russia has heard the words of President Trump, he says. We remain open to dialogue. We are still ready for peace. The message is careful, diplomatic. But everyone knows the army is still fighting. In the east of Ukraine, Russian troops keep advancing. 2 new towns fall under Russian control. Reports say more than 1,200 Ukrainian soldiers have been killed in just 24 hours. For Putin, these victories are proof. Russia is still strong. Russia will not be forced to surrender. Back in Washington, Trump seems impatient. He talks again to reporters. I gave Putin 50 days. Now I give him 10. I know what his answer will be. His words sound like a challenge. Markets fall. European leaders panic. Energy prices jump overnight. What if Trump punishes countries that buy Russian oil and gas? What if China and India refuse to stop trading with Moscow? The fear grows. In China, President Xi Jinping watches closely. He has recently met Putin. Their handshake was firm. Their words were clear. We will change history together. Trump's threat pushes Moscow and Beijing closer. 2 great powers. 2 leaders who feel insulted. Russian state TV debates Trump's move. Some guests laugh at the ultimatum. Others warn that it could lead to a world war. Medvedev speaks again. He reminds the world, Russia is not a weak country. We are not Iran. We are not Israel. We will not be humiliated. But ordinary Russians are divided. Some want peace. They are tired of war, sanctions, and fear. Others believe that Russia must never back down, no matter the cost. Experts in Europe and America argue too. Colonel Douglas Macgregor says Trump might just be bluffing. Maybe he only wants to scare Europe, to get trade deals, to show strength. But what if he is serious? What if sanctions hit China, India, and other countries buying Russian energy. Global trade could collapse. In the Kremlin, Putin stays silent. He listens. He watches. He waits. Advisors talk quietly in dark rooms. Generals give reports about the battlefield. Everyone wonders, how will Putin answer? Trump speaks again. His voice is louder. His message is final. If Russia continues this war, there will be consequences, not just for Moscow, for every country that supports it. The countdown continues. 10 days, 9 days. Will Russia bend? Will Trump act? Or is the world walking step by step toward a disaster no one can stop? Chapter 3. New victories on the battlefield. The sun rises over eastern Ukraine, but there is no peace. The sound of artillery shakes the ground. Smoke fills the sky. Russian forces keep moving forward. 2 new towns, Novoekrayinka in Donetsk and Timirovka in Zaporizhia, are taken. The Russian army celebrates. A military report claims a huge victory. More than 1,250 Ukrainian soldiers are killed in just one day. For the Russian generals, this is proof. Their war is working. Their army is advancing. News spreads fast in Moscow. State TV shows maps with red arrows pointing deeper into Ukraine. Presenters speak with pride. Russia is winning, they say. But behind the smiles, there is tension. The world is watching. Trump's 10-day ultimatum is still counting down. In Washington, the news arrives. Trump is angry. He wanted progress toward peace. Instead, Russia is taking more land. He steps before the cameras. His words are sharp. This is unacceptable. If Putin thinks he can ignore me, he is wrong. Sanctions will be total. Russia will be isolated, and any country that buys Russian oil or gas will pay a heavy price. The message is clear. Trump is threatening not just Russia, but also its friends. European leaders meet in Brussels. They are nervous. Europe still depends on Russian energy. Gas heats homes. Oil runs factories and cars. What if Trump blocks trade with countries that buy Russian energy? What if China, India, and Turkey keep buying? Will Europe be forced to pay higher prices? The room is filled with fear. Meanwhile, in Beijing, Xi Jinping and his advisors meet. China buys huge amounts of Russian oil. It also sells technology and goods to Moscow. One advisor says, Trump cannot punish us. We are too strong. Another warns, but if he tries, our relations with the U.S. will break completely. Xi stays quiet. But inside, he knows one thing. China cannot let Russia lose this war. Back in Ukraine, soldiers fight street by street. Every day, more towns are lost. Civilians flee their homes. Families cross borders in fear. Ukrainian commanders beg for more weapons, but supplies are limited. Morale is low. And the deadline from Trump gives them little hope. Russian media shows a different picture. Reporters smile as they speak of victory. They say Ukraine is collapsing. They say Russia is on the path to success. But experts know the truth. Russia is winning land. Yet every step forward increases the risk of a bigger war. In Washington, Colonel Douglas McGregor speaks on TV. Trump may not be serious, he says. This could just be a tactic, a way to pressure Europe and get trade benefits. But if he really enforces these sanctions, the world economy will suffer. Markets react. Oil prices rise. Currencies fall. People wonder, is Trump bluffing? Or is he about to do something no U.S. president has ever done? Punish China and India for helping Russia. Inside the Kremlin, generals brief Putin. They tell him of victories, of new land taken, of Ukrainian soldiers killed. But Putin stays silent. He does not answer Trump. He does not change his plans. For Russia, backing down is not an option. Trump watches closely. Every day feels longer than the last. 10 days, 9, 8. But still, no reply from Moscow. The world is split. Some believe Trump is strong. Others fear he is reckless. And in the middle of it all, Ukraine suffers. Towns fall. Families run. The war grows darker. The clock keeps ticking. No peace. More victories for Russia. More pressure from Trump. The question grows louder. Who will blink first? Trump or Putin? And what happens if neither does? Chapter 4. The Shadow Plan. While bombs fall on Ukraine, another battle begins, a political one. It does not happen on the front lines. It happens in secret meetings, in offices, in the minds of world leaders. Russian intelligence makes a shocking claim. The West, it says, is planning to replace Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The name of one man rises, General Valery Zaluzhny. He is a former commander of Ukraine's armed forces, strong, respected, and once very popular among soldiers. According to Moscow, Washington and London want Zaluzhny to become Ukraine's new president. For Russia, this is proof that the West is pulling the strings. Russian state TV shows pictures of Zaluzhny. Commentators ask, is he the new face of Ukraine? Is this how the West will control Kyiv? Some Russians believe it. Others think it is just propaganda. But one thing is clear. The war is not only about territory. It is also about who will sit in the presidential chair. In Kyiv, Zelensky faces pressure. He knows that some in the West are losing patience. He knows that some Ukrainian officials see Zaluzhny as a strong alternative. But Zelensky refuses to step down. He says, Ukraine will never bow to Russia. And I will never leave my people. Still, the rumors grow. Political leaders whisper behind closed doors. Some say Zelensky has become too weak, too unpopular, too dependent on foreign aid. Trump's ultimatum makes everything worse. He has given Russia only 10 days to end the war or face massive sanctions. But no progress is made. Russia keeps advancing. Some Western leaders fear that Zelensky is not the man to make peace. They believe Zaluzhny might be stronger, tougher, able to negotiate with Moscow. Russian intelligence watches closely. For Moscow, Zaluzhny's rise could be a trap. A new leader might sign a peace deal that benefits the West, not Russia. A senior Russian official says, replacing Zelensky will not change anything. We will not trust a puppet president. Only a new, legitimate leader after elections can end this war. In Washington, officials debate. Some want to keep supporting Zelensky. Others secretly discuss Zaluzhny. Would Ukraine fight better with him in power? Would Russia take him seriously? No one knows. Meanwhile, in Moscow, Putin remains silent. His advisors argue over what to do. Medvedev, always blunt, says, "This is proof that Ukraine has no independence. The West chooses its leaders. We must keep fighting until we take all of Ukraine." The room goes quiet. His words are heavy. In London, intelligence officers write reports. They say that Zaluzhny is the man the West can trust. But they also know that changing leaders in wartime is risky. The Ukrainian people may see it as betrayal. The army could become divided. Russia could use it as propaganda. All the while, the clock keeps ticking. 10 days, 9 days, 8 days. Trump waits for results. He wants Russia to stop the war. He wants to look strong. But instead, Russia is taking more land. Zelensky is losing support. And the world wonders, is Ukraine about to change leaders in the middle of a war? In the streets of Kyiv, ordinary people are tired. Tired of bombs. Tired of fear. Tired of a war that seems endless. Some say, maybe Zaluzhny can save us. Others say, this is madness. We must stay united. But far away, in Moscow and Washington, decisions are being made. Decisions that could change Ukraine forever. The war is no longer just about tanks and missiles. It is also about power, politics, and who will hold the pen to sign the final deal. The shadow of Zaluzhny grows larger. But will he truly replace Zelensky? Or is he just a pawn in a bigger game? A game played by powerful men far from the battlefield. The clock keeps ticking. And the world edges closer to a point of no return. Chapter 5. A Test for Europe. The news spreads like fire. Trump is not only warning Russia, he is warning everyone who trades with Russia. If you buy Russian energy, you will pay a heavy price, he says. The words echo across Europe. In Brussels, leaders gather for an emergency meeting. The mood is tense. No one smiles. Europe still depends on Russian gas and oil. Pipelines bring fuel to heat homes in winter. Ships deliver oil for cars, trucks, and factories. But Trump's threat changes everything. If Europe continues to buy Russian energy, it could face American sanctions. For some countries, this is a nightmare. Gas prices could rise. Industries could collapse. People could lose jobs. Inside the meeting room, voices clash. A German minister says, "We cannot stop buying gas overnight. Our people will freeze." A Polish delegate shouts, "We must stand with America. Russia must be punished." The French president tries to calm the room. We must think carefully. If Trump sanctions us, our economies will suffer. But time is short. Trump's ultimatum is still counting down. 10 days, 9, 8. Meanwhile, in Moscow, Russian officials watch with interest. They know Europe is divided. They know some countries cannot survive without Russian gas. A Russian commentator says on TV, Trump is attacking his own allies. Europe will soon understand that America does not care about them. In Beijing, Xi Jinping studies the situation. China buys even more Russian energy than Europe. An advisor tells him, Trump will not dare sanction us. The U.S. needs our economy. Another warns, if he does, relations with America will collapse completely. Xi stays silent, but deep inside, he knows one thing. China must stand with Russia. India, Brazil, and other countries also watch closely. Many of them buy cheap Russian oil. If Trump punishes them, global trade could break apart. A Brazilian minister says, why should we follow America's orders? We need energy, not lectures. Back in Washington, Trump is confident. He tells reporters, we will not let anyone fund Putin's war. If Europe and China want to buy Russian energy, they will pay the price. But experts warn him. Sanctions on so many countries could destroy global markets. Oil prices are already rising. Gas is getting more expensive every day. Ordinary Europeans are worried. Families wonder how they will pay for heating. Truck drivers fear higher fuel costs. Farmers fear losing their harvests if prices rise too much. Some blame Putin. Others blame Trump. Inside the Kremlin, Putin watches calmly. He knows Europe is divided. He knows Trump's threats may push Europe into chaos. A Russian advisor says, let Trump fight with his allies. The more they argue, the stronger we become. European leaders feel trapped. If they obey Trump, their people may suffer. If they ignore him, they risk American sanctions. It is a test for Europe, a test of loyalty, a test of survival. Meanwhile, Russian energy keeps flowing east. China and India buy more. Countries in Africa and South America sign new deals. Putin smiles. The world is changing, he says quietly, and America cannot stop it. The countdown continues. 10 days, 9 days, 8 days. The world grows more divided. Europe is stuck in the middle. And Trump waits, ready to strike. But does he truly have the power to control everyone? The next days will decide. Chapter 6. A Dangerous Gamble. The world is holding its breath. Trump speaks again, louder than before. Putin has 10 days. If he does not stop this war, Russia will be punished like never before, and any country that buys Russian oil or gas will also pay. Markets fall. Currencies shake. Leaders panic. In Washington, some experts start to worry. Colonel Douglas McGregor appears on TV. He says, maybe Trump is not serious. Maybe this is just a tactic, a way to pressure Europe and win trade concessions. But others disagree. Trump is serious, says one advisor. He wants to look strong. He wants to prove that America is still the boss. No one knows which is true. Is this a clever strategy? Or is it a dangerous gamble that could push the world toward disaster? In Brussels, European leaders meet again. The mood is worse than before. Gas prices are rising every hour. Factories fear shutting down. Families fear cold winters. A German leader says, Trump is risking our economy just to look powerful. A Polish minister replies, No, we must follow him. Russia must pay for its crimes. The room explodes in arguments. Meanwhile, in Moscow, Putin remains silent. He listens to reports about the battlefield. 2 new towns have fallen to Russian control. The army is advancing. An advisor tells him, Trump will never dare sanction China and India. If he does, the global economy will collapse. Putin nods, but says nothing. In Beijing, Xi Jinping meets his top officials. Some believe Trump is bluffing. Others fear that the United States could really target Chinese banks and companies. Xi finally speaks. If America wants to punish us, we will stand with Russia even more. We cannot let them break us apart. The world is splitting into 2 camps. On one side, America and its European allies. On the other, Russia, China, India, and many countries buying Russian oil. For decades, the United States was the most powerful nation. But now, the balance of power is changing. On American news channels, analysts debate endlessly. Some say Trump is brave, taking a stand against Putin. Others warn that his threats could start a world war. A former senator says, Trump is playing with fire. He is risking the economy, risking peace, risking everything. In Europe, ordinary people grow anxious. Heating bills rise. Food becomes more expensive. Many feel they are paying the price for a war far away. A mother in France says, I just want my children to be warm this winter. Why should we suffer for politics? But Trump seems confident. He smiles during press conferences. He repeats his words again and again. Russia must stop the war. If not, sanctions will be total. Some believe he is bluffing. Others fear he truly means it. Inside the Kremlin, Medvedev speaks once more. Russia is not afraid. We will not be humiliated. If Trump wants to test us, he will regret it. His words are clear. Russia will not back down. The countdown continues. 10 days, 9 days, 8 days. Trump is betting everything on one move. Putin is refusing to bend. The world watches 2 powerful men, 2 leaders playing a high-stakes game. A game where one wrong step could set the planet on fire. The question hangs in the air. Is Trump a genius strategist or a reckless gambler ready to risk it all? The answer will come soon. Chapter 7. Russia and China unite. In Beijing, the air is heavy with tension. Xi Jinping meets his closest advisors. On the table are maps, energy charts, and reports about Trump's threats. An advisor speaks first. Mr. President, Trump will not dare sanction us. He needs our economy. Another interrupts. But if he does, our banks and companies could be hit hard. We must prepare for the worst. Xi listens silently. Then he says calmly, if America tries to punish us, we will stand with Russia even more. We cannot let them divide us. Days later, Xi meets Vladimir Putin. The 2 men shake hands firmly. Cameras flash. The world watches. Putin smiles slightly. Together, we can change history, he says. Xi nods. The future will not be written by America alone. We decide our destiny. Behind closed doors, their talks grow serious. They discuss new energy deals. China will buy more Russian oil and gas. Russia will get Chinese technology to replace Western imports. They also talk about trade in their own currencies, the ruble and the yuan. No more dependence on the US dollar. News of the meeting spreads quickly. Western media call it a dangerous alliance. Experts warn that the world is splitting into two blocks. A US analyst says, "This is exactly what America fears. A united Russia and China can challenge US power everywhere." In Moscow, the news is celebrated. Russian TV shows the handshake again and again. Commentators say, "Look, America cannot isolate us. We have China, India, and the whole BRICS group on our side." But in Washington, the mood is grim. Trump's advisors argue. One says, "We must punish China if they help Russia." Another replies, "Sanctioning China will destroy our own economy. It's too risky." Trump listens, but says nothing. For now, he seems determined to continue. Meanwhile, in Europe, fear grows. Gas prices rise even higher. Factories slow down. Families struggle to pay their bills. A German newspaper writes, "Europe is caught between America and Russia, and we are the ones paying the price." Back in Beijing, Xi and Putin share a private conversation. Putin says quietly, "Trump thinks he can break us. But he does not understand. We have nowhere to retreat. Russia will fight until the end." Xi replies, "And China will never let Russia fall. Together, we will build a new world order." The West watches with alarm. This alliance is more than trade. It is political. It is military. It is a message. The era of American dominance is ending. Trump appears on TV again. He warns, if China keeps helping Russia, they will face the toughest sanctions in history. But many doubt his words. Punishing China could crash the global economy. Could Trump really take that risk? In Moscow, Medvedev speaks boldly. Let Trump try. Russia and China together are too strong. If America wants a fight, it will lose. His words are broadcast everywhere. For many Russians, they bring pride. The countdown continues. 10 days, 9, 8. But the world has changed. Russia and China are closer than ever, and the United States is losing its grip. The question becomes clear. Is Trump ready to face not just Russia, but a united Russia-China front? If he pushes too far, the consequences could shake the world forever. Chapter 8. The West Divided. In Washington, the tension is rising. Trump's warnings grow louder. If Russia does not stop this war, the United States will act. Sanctions will hit every country that helps Putin. The words sound powerful. But inside the White House, not everyone agrees. Some advisors warn him. "Mr. President, sanctioning China and India will hurt our own economy. Prices will explode. Trade will collapse." Others push him forward. "You must show strength. If you back down now, Putin will win. America must lead." Trump listens, but stays silent. His decision is still unclear. Across the Atlantic, Europe is breaking apart. Leaders argue in Brussels. Gas prices are already at record highs. Factories are closing. Families fear the winter cold. A German minister says, "We cannot survive without Russian gas. Trump is pushing us into crisis." A Polish delegate shouts back, "Russia must be punished. Europe must stand with America, no matter the cost." The room erupts into chaos. Old alliances are cracking. In Paris, protests fill the streets. People march with signs, "No more sanctions. We need energy, not war." Ordinary citizens are tired. They do not care about Trump or Putin. They just want warm homes and affordable food. In London, the Prime Minister struggles to keep unity. The UK supports Trump, but businesses warn of disaster. One energy CEO says, "If sanctions hit China, we will lose billions. The economy will crash." Back in Washington, Congress is divided too. Some senators cheer Trump's tough stance. Others call it reckless. Senator Rand Paul speaks on TV. "These sanctions will hurt Americans more than Russians. Trump is risking our economy for a war we cannot win." The media shows endless debates. Is Trump a brave leader or a dangerous gambler? Is he saving the world or destroying it? Nobody knows. Meanwhile, in Moscow, Putin watches silently. Every day, Russian troops move further into Ukraine. More towns fall. Ukraine is bleeding. Medvedev speaks again. "Look at the West. They are fighting each other. Trump is destroying his own allies. Russia will never surrender." In Beijing, Xi Jinping smiles slightly. He sees the West divided. He sees Europe collapsing under high prices. He knows that the longer this goes on, the stronger China and Russia become. In Kiev, Zelensky is losing support. Whispers about General Zaluzhny grow louder. Some Western leaders wonder if a new president could save Ukraine, but replacing Zelensky in wartime could create even more chaos. The countdown continues. 10 days, 9 days, 8 days. Trump looks confident on camera, but behind the scenes, he faces growing opposition. Even America's allies are unsure. Will they follow Trump's lead? Or will they turn away from the United States? The world is changing fast. Old alliances are breaking. New ones are forming. The United States is no longer untouchable. Russia and China are rising together. And Europe, once united, is now deeply divided. The big question remains: can Trump hold the West together? Or will his gamble break everything America built after the Second World War? The answer will come soon. The clock keeps ticking. 7 days, 6, and still no one knows how this story will end. Chapter 9. The Countdown. The world is silent. Every headline shows the same message: Trump's ultimatum. 10 days to end the war in Ukraine. Now, only 3 days remain. In Moscow, Putin stays quiet. His army keeps advancing. 2 more towns fall. Reports of heavy Ukrainian losses fill Russian TV screens. A Russian general says proudly, "We will not stop. Russia never bows to threats." Medvedev appears again, his voice sharp as ever. "Trump cannot scare us. Russia is not a weak country. We will never surrender." In Washington, the tension is unbearable. Trump walks to the podium, cameras flashing. He repeats his warning. If Putin does not stop this war, sanctions will hit Russia harder than ever before, and any country buying Russian energy will pay. His tone is firm, but behind the scenes, his advisors are divided. One whispers, "Mr. President, you must act. If you back down, you will look weak." Another says, "If you go too far, you will destroy the global economy. You could start a world war." Trump says nothing. He knows his next move could change history. In Brussels, European leaders hold a final meeting. The room is filled with fear. Gas prices are at record highs. Protests are growing. A German leader says, "We cannot follow Trump. Our people will freeze." A Polish minister replies, "We must stay with America. Russia must lose." Voices rise. Alliances break. Europe is no longer united. In Beijing, Xi Jinping receives a private message from Moscow. Putin writes, "We stand together. We will not bend to Trump." Xi replies, "China will not abandon Russia." The West is weak. Their time is ending. The two men know that if Trump sanctions China, the global system will shatter. But they are ready. Kyiv is desperate. Zelensky pleads for more weapons, more aid, more support, but whispers grow louder. Maybe General Zaluzhny can lead us better. Even some Western officials start to wonder if Ukraine needs a new face to survive. Day by day, the countdown continues. 3 days, 2 days, 1 day. The world watches in fear. Is this the moment when everything changes? Finally, the 10th day arrives. Trump appears on live television. Millions of eyes are on him. Putin has chosen war over peace, he says. Starting today, the United States will impose full sanctions on Russia, and any country that trades with Russia will face penalties. The words hit like a hammer. Markets crash. Oil prices explode. In Moscow, Putin responds calmly. "Russia will not bow. We will continue our mission. The world must know. Russia is not afraid." China announces its answer too. Beijing declares it will keep trading with Russia. Xi Jinping says, "The era of Western control is over. We will build a new world." The divide is complete. The world has split into two camps. That night, headlines flash across the globe. New Cold War begins. But some fear this will not stay cold for long. Ordinary people everywhere feel the impact. Gasoline becomes expensive. Food prices rise. Uncertainty spreads like a shadow. A mother in Europe whispers to her child, "I just want peace. Why must we suffer for this?" In secret, military leaders in Russia and NATO prepare for the worst. They know one mistake, one wrong move, could lead to disaster. The final scene is tense. Putin sits in the Kremlin, silent. Trump stands in the White House, watching the news. She smiles slightly in Beijing. The world has entered a new age. An age of rivalry, power, and fear. The countdown is over, but the real danger may have just begun.